Hi folks, this is Dr. Burke Mays. I get this question a lot in my office. People come in and say, Dr. Mays, I have my thyroid out, either surgically removed or it was irradiated, and I'm still having all those same symptoms. I'm having the weight issues, the temperature sensitivity, the digestive issues, the loss of hair, the aches and pains, the brain fog, the depression. All those things we know come along with a poor functioning thyroid gland, but the thyroid's gone, or it's not. It's been irradiated or removed, and so I don't think you can do anything for it. My thyroid's gone, and how we got to look at a couple of really important points. Is one part. This is kind of the smaller part. Is it's impossible to remove all the thyroid. To either irradiate it, you get rid of all of it, or to cut it out. You're still going to have some parts left over. But more importantly is most thyroid-related symptoms happen away from the thyroid. If you just look at how the thyroid works, at a real basic level, your pituitary is up in your brain, and it responds to levels of a thyroid called T4. And when the levels are low in your blood, it kicks out a hormone called TSH. It's a messenger. It goes down to your thyroid, tells your thyroid to get to work, to make the hormones T4 and T3. Now, if somebody has that thyroid gone, then you start taking a hormone replacement therapy, things like Armour thyroid or Synthroid or levothyroxine. All those, most of those are T4, some have T4 and T3 combinations. And here's where some of the issues we can still help people with come into play. So normally what happens is you make about 93% T4 and about 7% T3. That T3 is the active part. That's what actually goes out it gets carried by something called a thyroid binding globulin. It's like a taxi cab or a transport system. Takes those hormones out to your tissues, turns the cells on, has them do something. But about 93% of that thyroid hormone is a T4. It's the inactive form. That gets carried by the thyroid binding globulin hormone or proteins out to your liver, your gut, or your kidneys. So if you have issues in your gut, if you have issues with your liver, issues with your kidneys, you're not going to be making that conversion there. Then what happens is you take your T4, and there's a very delicate enzyme called 5' deiodinase. It's very delicate. It requires key nutrients like selenium and zinc and vitamin D to work. And that converts that T4 to T3, so it goes up your tissues and makes your body work. But over here, this area is really responsive and really affected by infections. That can be infections in your gut, like Candida or H. pylori, or it can be systemic infections like Epstein-Barr virus or cytomegalovirus, or Lyme's disease is the big player. And it's really sneaky, especially in this area, because Lyme's is really prevalent, and Lyme's is really hard to diagnose. There's a lot of what we call false negatives. And that's probably actually a topic for another video, but Lyme's is the background a lot of people I see in my office. So you can have chronic infections alter that whole function there. If you're having liver issues, if your liver is not really healthy, not eliminating your toxins properly, if you're somebody where you're very chemically sensitive, that's a surefire sign that your liver is stressed, you're not making that conversion. Other common players are we get thyroid hormone resistance, kind of like insulin resistance, where the cells don't respond to the presence of thyroid hormone. That can be due to things like high cortisol. We live in a high stress environment, a high stress world, and you can either be nutrient depleted, where you can't break the cortisol down, or you're under so much stress all the time you just can't get it under control. But high cortisol blocks the activity and down regulates your thyroid activity. Estrogen dominance, elevated estrogen in women and in men. I see that in men also. That's going to downregulate your thyroid activity. Inflammation is a key player in so many different things. I see in so many people that chronic inflammation, we call meta-inflammation, also affects your thyroid. And lastly, oddly enough, it's hard to, we don't see this very often, but high vitamin D. Some people go, wow, a little vitamin D is good, let's take a lot of it. Or sometimes it's in the wrong formulation of it, where it accumulates in your body and also downregulates your thyroid. Those are some common factors we look at when somebody says, hey, Dr. Mays, my thyroid's gone, can you help me? That's some of the picture we look at. We also talk more about that on my full-length workshop that you either attend to or get a copy of the video by filling out the information here online. Thanks for watching.